Welcome to OState Daily. Casey Porter here, joined by the special guest again, week 2 of the season, week 2 appearance for Scott Tyner. Coach, you have a great perspective on everything's going on. Everybody's pissed off. Nobody's happy. We all get that, but in these moments, these are the moments that I like to turn it over to you and just listen to you talk, man. This is your forum. Say everything that needs to be said for Oklahoma State fans at this point.
Well, there's no sugarcoating that the other day. I watched 2 plays, and when I saw the run pop, when Oregon went simple, unbalanced line tackle over, we were trying like crazy to get adjusted and line up, and the running back just popped through off tackle, and we didn't really get a hand on him. He was going. I was like, well, I'm not going to spend my Saturday watching this.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody that's mad is correct. We're not very good right now. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. You know, Casey, it's a brand new roster. Mm-hmm. It's a brand new coaching staff. Terminology is relatively new. They've had springtime to put some things in. They had the fall to get used to running it, but that's their second time taking live ammunition with all these new pieces in place. And anybody that expected the chemistry and the execution to look better just isn't looking at it with a realistic eye. I knew it wasn't going to be good Saturday. I didn't think it'd be that bad, you know. But again, and I'm not, like I said, there's no excuses, there's no sugarcoating it. You go up to Eugene, Oregon with a freshman quarterback who's unproven, who's definitely not confident and definitely not any kind of rhythm to think that he would be ready for something like that. And he throws 2 pick sixes. I mean, that turns the old run-of-the-mill 45-7 blowout into 69-3, and don't even get me started on thin-skin Dan Lanning. I mean, there's extra thin condoms in the store that have thicker skin than that guy. But anyway, it is what it is. I guess you're asking for perspective to kind of make Cowboy fans feel better about what they saw. There's nothing to make you feel better about that. What there is the next game. Yeah. And you're gonna pin me back in the corner again. That looked a lot like 1992 Nebraska.
Yep.
You know, we went in there hunkered down. We kind of took our medicine. That was a 55-0 blowout. I don't think we crossed midfield all day that day. And that team, like we talked about, ended up a couple plays away from a winning season when it was all said and done. Tied Oklahoma, of all things that year. I'm not saying that's what's about to happen. This team could go 1-11. This team could go 8-4, or anywhere in between. I think. I think it's just about getting some more plays and snaps under their belt. Having Tulsa come into Boone Pickens Stadium, it could be a blessing. It could be a curse. I think I'd rather play someone else. But that's all we've got is the next game. And there's people, like you're saying, that get angry. And you either have faith that the coaching staff and the players, you hope that Zane has had enough now that he'll relax. And the game next week should slow down for him. It's not going to get faster than that one did.
No.
Ever.
Ever. Right.
And just going back to my experience, that day at Lincoln, Nebraska, felt a lot more hurried up, and it was a lot more intense for me than pretty much anybody else we played that year. And they played for a national title that year, so I think Oregon is probably going to end up being very similar when all is said and done. But bad scheduling, bad timing. Yes, we are certainly reeling. I don't know what to tell folks to make them feel better about the future with all that's happened with NIL. We're navigating it. We're doing what we think we can with it. The people out there that say, oh, there's money. Well, obviously there isn't, because we're not at the same level. I'm not talking about Kansas State and Iowa State. When you start splitting those hairs, now you could be talking about personnel management and coaching. I mean, obviously. But I'm talking about Oregon, Mississippi, Texas Tech, Georgia, Tennessee, the true Ohio State, the true big dogs that are out there, Texas, of course. So, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to navigate. You have, like I kind of leaned in, you can have faith in them turning this thing around gradually and this season ending up productive, or you could just say that's enough, throw them out the window. Man, I got into it on Twitter a little bit with some people saying you need to fire him now because now we could keep recruits here and they won't go to the portal, and you get your guy in here early. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that sounds really good on Twitter. How are you going to really do that?
Yeah, that's the problem.
I mean,
that's not a real world thing.
No, let's play the Zach Robinson game, right? He's an offensive coordinator in the NFL who just started their season.
Yes.
He's not leaving the NFL to come to Oklahoma State where he'd have to completely change the way he managed football. He's getting to coach it in Atlanta. I think it's Atlanta, right? He was with the Rams.
Yeah,
right. He's getting to coach football now. He would not get to coach. If he left the NFL week 3 of a season, he'll never go back. Why on earth would he ever do that, on his behalf?
To come to have to deal with the NIL transfer portal, no contracts, none of that.
Middle of a season, in the middle of, and so
a
that's
program that's in shambles.
Yeah,
all of that.
Yeah, all that. And it's not realistic to say fire him and the players will stay. Well, how do you know that these 45 transfers didn't come specifically because of Mike Gundy and this coaching staff?
Well, Haas Haney, your number one quarterback, he has a history with Coach Johns. He was going to go to Duke with Coach Johns, and then he was at TCU with Coach Meacham. So he's probably the first one to leave.
And so, yeah, right. And so you throw all those intangible things in there when it comes to player acquisition. And, all that's easy to talk about. Let's talk about the business aspect of it. You just had to probably spend some money to buy out the last coaching staff. Right. You had to spend money to buy in this coaching staff. It's very well documented, in fact, that we've spent money to acquire this roster for 45 new players. So if you go and say, let's flip the apple cart over, where are you going to get the money to start over? How are you going to start over? Now
you got to buy out a whole new staff.
Yeah, you got to buy out a whole new staff, pay a new guy to, everybody.
Then buy in a new staff.
Yeah, you got to buy in a new staff. I mean, play the John Gruden game. Here comes John Gruden. Oh yeah, great, that's sexy. Everybody loves it. Well, we already got John Gruden. It's Mike Gundy. They're just as the one is just as arrogant as the other, and we love them both for it. So I mean, it's just not as easy as fire the coach and everything will get better. The game is now about money, investment, and ROI. And I think you've got to be prudent, and you've got to let your investment work a little bit and see in December if you're going to get an ROI, if you're going to get a return on it. And if you are, then you've done it. You've got a young team coming back, and maybe you build. I mean, I think it's just too convenient to and listen, I want to win. The greatest nights and days of my life have been the last 4 years watching the Cowboys win Bedlam and beat Texas, in person and be in the stadium, and nothing better than that. But let's be realistic. The game has changed. Player acquisition has changed. And I would argue that for Coach Gundy and the Oklahoma State football program, I don't know that the change hurt anybody more than Oklahoma State. And what I'm talking about there is a program that prided itself on 3-star recruitment and 5-star development. We're recruiting middling guys, and we're turning them into NFL players. We were, like I've heard Mike say it.
James Washington would be the perfect case scenario there.
From Stanford, Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Justice
played,
Hill was a fairly big recruit, but he ended up way better than he was actually as a recruit.
exactly, and all these
Dantrell Savage, Kendall Hunter, guys like that.
Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yeah, right.
He's the ultimate, and all that. And so, I mean, that program nobody was better at it.
Nick Martin.
I used to laugh, Nick Martin. I used to laugh, Brock Martin too.
Yeah.
I used to laugh at my Texas friends down here and tell them, well, you got the number 5 recruiting class and the number 41 team during those early 2010s, and we've got the number 41 recruiting class and we're number 8, or whatever we were. And so I just think when you take into account that that's what we were for so long, and you literally have the game rip the rug out from under that, what did we expect? If we expected to be able to just transition out of that, I just watch it, and it's very maddening for me because I loved what we were. I love that player development mindset. James Washington participated in a 1A basketball tournament at my school that I was working at, and I watched him play 1A basketball because I was at a 1A school because he was a 1A kid. And now he goes to OSU, and he is literally the most dangerous deep threat in all of college football. But he didn't look the same at OSU as he did when I saw him.
Yeah, right. He was developed and turned into a player and had a by all accounts a really nice NFL career. David Thompson was a little bit after you. He's perfect case scenario though.
David was a freshman when I was a senior. Absolutely. Yeah. So I don't know. I read I think it was you that wrote it, that maybe Mike had it right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe, we don't know this. Maybe he was right when he said, let's keep growing them small and young and turn them into the little engine that could, so to speak.
And then pay them once that, instead of letting Alabama pluck after you've developed them, then just use all of your money to pay the guys that you've already developed. Then Gundy can keep the same system, and that's how we're using our internet. Because if we go spend to redo our roster every year, that's how we use our NL money, we're playing the same game as OU and Alabama, and we are going to lose in that scenario.
Never going to play it as good as they are.
No.
And not able to. And I was actually talking to Chad Morris yesterday. He was here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where is he at now, by the way?
He's sitting. He's waiting. He's waiting for an opportunity. He was at Arkansas.
You worked with him for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, Chad and I worked together for a long time. We're from the same hometown. So he came out to the high school field yesterday to watch practice, and I happened to be out there. And that's what he was saying, that there's no replacement for experience. And that's what he was talking about, able to buy these experienced players and roster these 22, 23, 24-year-old guys. And I added something to it, and I said, well, Chad, here's what I can tell you from my experience with OSU. There's no replacement for experience and hunger that our 24 team that won, surprisingly. And let's talk about that for a minute. Remember 2 weeks ago when I told you that nobody else may be any good? Remember when I mentioned that nobody else out there? By the way, in 2024, nobody was any good.
Yeah, right.
Not in the Big 12. And
Arizona State was okay. I mean, they almost beat Texas.
Well, so Arizona State, we did not play them.
Right.
Who else was good? You see what I'm saying? We had a schedule that laid down for us.
We did.
And here comes Ollie.
BYU was pretty good.
And guess what? We had to come from 21 down and beat them in double overtime at home.
Yeah.
In a miracle performance.
You're talking about 2 years ago. Okay, yeah. Okay,
the 10 and 4 year. Yeah. The 10 and 4 year, us and Baylor.
Yeah.
Excuse me, us in Texas, I'm sorry. That was it. And we beat OU, and we backdoor into the Big 12 title game when we beat OU on Bedlam. And other than OU, tell me the quality win.
Right.
And not trying to disparage the season, but the reason I say all that roster fed off of that momentum and that success. And by the end of the year, that roster believed, and that roster was good. And, we knew, did anybody stand in line to go into AT&T Stadium thinking we were about to beat Texas?
Right.
No, we were proud to be there to support the guys. And we walked out of there, and I don't think a single OSU fan hung their head because Jatavian Sanders and Xavier Worthy just ran all over the field, And by the way, they're doing that now on my fantasy football team. or Xavier better this week. But anyway, that team, if you go back and look at it, so what did we do? We spent money to keep them there.
That's kind of my point about the formula. That was the formula.
So that is the formula, and what I'm trying to add here is that hunger piece.
Yeah.
I thought that team got fat and happy.
They did.
They were a little too old, almost. Yeah. Like Allen was over it. He'd had enough.
And the offensive line.
And the offensive line was a little too old, and they just weren't good enough to.
And Casey Dunn, you can disagree with this. Casey Dunn did not do a good job whatsoever. I didn't.
Not with that group. No, not with that group at all. But when your offensive line doesn't produce, you're limited in what you can do. So it's kind of chicken or the egg.
Right.
Maybe it was Jim Bob. You know what I mean? Or who was the O-line coach? I can't remember the name now. Dickey.
Yeah, Charlie Dickey.
Charlie Dickey, yeah. And so maybe, I mean, like I say, I don't know where you put all the blame on that deal. It's probably on the players, honestly, for 2 years ago.
But if those same players had been sophomores and juniors, like a Wendell Gregory is going to be a junior next year. Let's say this year was awesome, and he's returning. He still is only a junior. He's not going to be a seventh-year senior, so that hunger is going to be. So kind of my point is, let's spend our money if Wendell Gregory ends up being good, let's spend our money keeping that guy versus going and getting another hybrid outside linebacker defensive end.
I'm with you. I mean, I'm with you. I think that's the way for us is try to keep a team together. Try to keep a group of guys in there, have them play hungry. Then again, I would also argue that, I mean, for everybody that says fire Gundy, fire Gundy, fire Gundy, okay, fair. I mean, fine. But who's to say that this coaching staff that he put together, this portal class that they put together, what would they be like in year 2?
Yeah, right. We haven't even seen what we can be like with Haas Haney on what we have, and it was really good. I mean, we don't even know what we're going to look like with Haas Haney running this. And that would be my biggest complaint. You get all these new guys, Scott, and you know this as well as I do. Sometimes it's more about fit than it is talent, right? And so why is our backup quarterback a guy that doesn't run the ball very well? That's my biggest complaint about so even if he's not a good passer or he's not very big, we should have 5 guys on the field that can run a zone read and run a read option type offense, because that's the type of offense that we brought here this year. We transitioned to.
Yeah, and we're also maybe finding out why Garrett Rangel was the starter last year.
Yes. Like, why didn't we prioritize him over Zane Flores when he can be the better runner?
Why Alan Bowman we kept going back to Allen. When everybody, it's so obvious he's the problem. Well,
yes.
It's easy. I say this in my line of work. Easy to point out the problem. You better make
Find
sure
a
you
solution.
have. You better have a solution. I mean, it's.
So if Haas Haney comes back and he goes off and he leads us to 4 or 5 wins and we get to 7 wins, okay? Yeah. Why would Oklahoma State not empty its pockets to keep that guy? Why would we just let him go and then go get another quarterback and say that's the best use of NIL? That's kind of my point.
Yeah, a 7-5 team, you keep everybody.
That's my point. Spend your NIL and then maybe add a guy or two, because my point is you spend all your NIL money on the quarterback, on the receiver, on the running back, and then you kind of divvy it out from there, and then also on the retention of the best players that you had last year. Not everybody. I mean, if you have people that aren't producing that haven't been good, go ahead and let them go, but they're not going to cost a whole lot of money anyway. But retain the guys that were the factors. Go and get a couple here or there to add to that. But if Haas Haney goes off, keep him. If Terrell Davis ends up being really good, keep him. If Rodney Fields Jr. is really good, spend your NIL money to keep him, and then just go out and whatever you have left, add to that. That's what Gundy's always done, is had a quarterback, receiver, and running back, and then just kind of added to that.
And I can't imagine that that's not part of the plan.
Yeah.
And I do think there's a lot. I think, you and I say this all the time. It's never as easy as 2 guys talking on a podcast.
No, right.
There could be things happening in the classroom, on Saturday night at Murphy's.
Girlfriend broke up with you. It can be that stupid. Yeah.
Could be in the dormitory. Could be all these different things that take place throughout the course of the season and the year. Absolutely. That makes the player that we watch on Saturday not as valuable to the team going into next year. And so you let a guy go for that reason, perhaps.
Yeah.
And but my phone started ringing.
Busy man right there.
Yeah, I just hung up on him. It'd be okay. But so, I mean, I think there's just so much that goes into it. that we don't know. And yeah, it's frustrating, and yeah, we should be better, but none of us know what we do.
No doubt.
I mean, what the hell are we gonna do to fix it? And,
right.
Those are the people we have in place to fix it.
Yeah.
And this is you and me talking, and however many people watch this are going to hear it. And you and I think the same way on this.
We do.
I'm going to tell you what's not helping this program. It's all this crap that's going on with the institution at large. Mm-hmm. You have noisy. You have noisy
people that are putting their nose in places they shouldn't, even if they're right in principle, even if what they're saying and their message is correct. That just having the wrong people and putting their nose where it shouldn't be is such a detractor to other coaches, and that crap gets around like wildfire, man. Trust me, it does.
And when you have that lack of synergy between the Board of Regents all the way down to your AD, I mean, it's much less the president. I mean, it's a little like I've got two kids up there. They were angry that Casey Schrum got let go. Yeah. So the whole thing to me just kind of stinks like fish that's been there too long. I just don't. I think football is one of those sports that. It's all about positive vibes. It's all about positive energy.
Sports in general, not just football.
Sports in general. And
that's why it's great. Why kids need to do something competitive that's not easy.
That's right. It's a tough sport to begin with. So, the old coach in me says, we're burning that tape. We're moving on. Good luck, Oregon. We'll watch you the national title game. Yeah. We're going to get focused on Tulsa. Yeah.
So kind of where I draw the line here is – you're a little bit more positive and a little bit more perspective than I am. I'm way more pissed off. I'm way more radical than you, I think, at this point. But I think where we're both drawing the line is it's week freaking 2. First of all, it's not even feasible to go hire another coach. Second of all, the next coach isn't on campus. Otherwise, you wouldn't be firing your head coach because they'd be doing a better job. Third of all, this entire roster committed to every single transfer you got, including Haas Haney. They all committed to the coaches that are here. They're going to be more likely to leave than they are to stay. So you're going to be starting all the way over. And so that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life, to fire a coach after week 2. Now, having said that, if this was week 10 and we already can't have a winning season, we already can't make it to a bowl game, this season's already gone. If it's week 10 and you say, hey, let's get a head start on this, let's just finish out the last 2 games with an interim coach and be done with it and get a head start on everything else, I'm good with that. Just not in week 2.
100%. I mean, you're basically echoing what I actually said to somebody on a tweet. This is just asinine to think this is the time to do it.
Good old Sam Mays.
Old Sam, and I love him. But I mean, come on, man. That does not make sense. So
you have a higher opinion of Sam than I do. I'll put you that way.
Well, I hear you. But where you're angry at where we are, my anger isn't that. I look at where we are right now kind of with a realistic view of I see how it got here. Mm-hmm. I can blame 1,000 things on it, and I also kind of try to keep my emotions tempered either way.
See, I think I blame Gundy quite a bit more than you do. I think he's been asleep at the wheel a little bit more than you do.
I think, but I will agree that I think he got caught he got caught when all this started. 3 years ago, or whenever it was, he got caught with "stay off my lawn."
Yes.
And
I'm the smartest guy in the room, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And you know what? At that time, he probably had some reason to feel that way.
Yeah. You're right. Absolutely.
Honestly.
Yeah. No that's a good point. That's a good point there, Scott.
And here we are. My anger comes from the standpoint of there's nothing we can do about it.
Not right in week 2. Not in week 2.
Not in week 2, but I'm sitting there thinking, so a coach is going to fix that?
Yeah, right.
I mean, the people on Twitter that just say that Gundy was taking pictures with an Oregon fan at the way and he talks about how bad the team is every week. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to make them play better?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I played for Pat Jones, man. Come on. I showed up on Saturday and I played in spite of him.
Yeah,
sometimes.
absolutely. And I think some kids play in spite of Coach Gundy too. I think there's a lot of similarities there.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
But, the way a college football team works, they're playing for their position coach.
They are, yeah.
The head coach has very, very little to do.
And nowadays for their next paycheck.
Yes, that's it. They're just negotiating a paycheck.
Yeah.
The head football coach, Mike Gundy, is more of a GM than he is a football coach.
If he's doing it right, I don't know if he actually is, but if he's doing it right, he should
I
be.
think he and Kenyatta, I think they've made some efforts. I don't know,
I think Kenyatta's awesome. We need to keep him, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, who knows all what goes into that aspect of it. But the people that are saying that Gundy can't, here's what I would argue. Gundy, if he's guilty of anything, it might be keeping the reins on the offense.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's got his thumbprints on it too much. I mean, come on,
there's
man.
a little bit of that, let's just hand it off or let's just punt it.
That's the Pat Jones in him. Let's kick a field goal and let's see if we can make it whole.
It's in there, and so that may be. I'll grant that one to somebody for sure. But I just think it's just asinine to think week 2 or week 10. Oh, we hire a new coach.
Yeah.
It'll all get better.
That's not to say you think Mike Gundy at this moment is doing a great job with this program. That's just to say that concept is asinine.
Yes, and I think, and I'll add. You're right, and I'll add to that. Who would do a great job?
Yeah, correct.
The circumstances under which we are saddled.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know what you do, and that's where it's frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm not frustrated that we're bad. I recognize that we're bad.
Yeah.
I recognize that, man, something's got to change. I just don't think it's as easy as, let's just change the coach.
Yeah, not in week 2 especially, and it's not going to ever be that way, but it's certainly in week 2.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. The comment of, I know you've never done this. Told your kids that they have substantially less. I'm sure you have for a motivating, like, hey, let's shock the world type of deal. But that wasn't the way it came off with Coach Gundy. The statements of Oregon has bought a much better roster than we have, that was just bullshit, man. You just don't make that statement to your fan base, to your university, to college football, and to your players that they are way better than you. That's just so defeatist to me.
Well, yeah, but we knew Nebraska had a better roster.
Mm-hmm.
We knew we didn't need Pat to tell us that they were good. And I don't know that these guys coming in from the different places they came in from, because they all got recruited the same year those guys got recruited. Mm-hmm. They know that the Oregon running back was a 5-star and I'm a 3-star.
Great point.
They don't need Mike. They're not listening to that.
The kids always know first, by the way.
Yeah,
if you want to actually know who should be starting somewhere, just ask all the kids. They'll tell you.
Exactly. And as a former player, here's what I can tell you. We will listen to Mike in the meeting room. We will listen to Mike in the coach's office and on the practice field. We ain't listening to those press conferences.
Nah.
We ain't listening. We're not watching the news. We're not reading it. We could give a what, and because I think that's, and I'll say this, Mike probably, he is at that point. He's probably poking.
Yeah.
He's antagonizing. He's like, I'm going to show you. And that very much could have been a statement to say, hey, look, OSU donors, you're not doing it as well as Phil Knight, kind of deal. It could very well be something like that. I'm not.
That's within his possibilities because he's got that kind of cocky mentality.
But I think from a player standpoint, the people that say that, my God, who would want to play for a guy that said that, they ain't listening.
Okay.
He probably got.
That makes. That's a good way. That's a good way to look at it.
He already talked to the team in the locker room.
Yeah.
He already told them what he thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, even in the darkest of days in '93, Jones, we had injuries and people out and we're getting beat. Mm-hmm. But he's telling us one thing and he's putting out on the Pat Jones show on TV a different. And we're still trying to beat Kansas State. On Saturday. Yeah. So I think we get caught in the circus.
Yeah.
It's all look at what I'm showing you here. While meanwhile my other hand's doing something here. Yeah. Ultimately, and the bottom line, and this is oversimplification, the players have got to go play better, period. Zane has got to grow up yesterday. He can't wait. I'm sorry, Zane. You signed with Oklahoma State. You signed with one of the top 10 winningest programs of the last 20-something years. We had other quarterbacks produce with what people thought were weaker
There's no
coaches.
honeymoon period here.
Yeah, dude, you're here. Start producing.
Yes.
I mean, everybody cursed Casey Dunn, but Spencer Sanders played pretty good quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, come on now. Yes, we can throw all the shade at the coaches that we want. Ultimately, those dudes got to play better, and they got about 1 week from tomorrow to figure it out, and go play. And the coaches are not putting them in a position to lose. Is it too conservative? Yeah, maybe so. But hey, dude, you were the 3-star. Tulsa's not a 2-star. So what just happened last week? The reverse has happened.
Yeah. Right.
Now we're going into a game where our players know they were more highly recruited than Tulsa.
There you go. Yeah.
Show up and play like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm certain you're going to think like the comment afterwards that the offense was too complicated. I mean, it's like, okay, you watch this and you're like, how in the world is that? I'm sure you're going to write that down as coach speak.
Oh, well, here's what I'm going to call that. I'm going to call that Mike's awful attempt to take accountability.
Yeah. Okay. That's the best way ever to put that, Scott. That makes me laugh. That is awesome, dude. I feel that like changed my total mentality towards that whole thing. That was perfect. Mike's awful way.
Right?
That is
coach,
so great.
The coach will get up there and say, that's
so
on
great.
me. The coach usually gets, that's on me. I didn't have our kids ready to play. That was, and God bless him, and I love him. That was Mike's arrogance.
That absolutely is. That's the greatest way to describe Mike Gundy ever.
Yeah, that's on me,
And that makes you laugh because that is Mike Gundy just fumbling around and just the fallible side of him, which we love that side of him too. I mean, we all love it. Hey, I think there are probably some people that aren't rooting for Mike Gundy to get us through this patch. I think most fans aren't there yet. Like a guy like me who doesn't really like a lot of the things that he does, he rubs me the wrong way in most ways. I've never wanted him not to be the coach, and I am still in the camp to where, damn, I hope he's the one that figures this out and gets us through this patch, right?
Well, here's my deal. The people that are rooting against him, are they fans?
Right.
I'm wearing the wrong shirt today. When I'm wearing an Oklahoma State shirt. Mm-hmm. He's wearing an Oklahoma State shirt.
Yeah.
I wanted Mike Boynton to succeed more than anybody. And at no point did I want us to win with anybody else. Even though I could look at that program and say, man, there's some things that I'd like to see done differently. But I still rooted for Mike Boynton. And you go back through the last 20 years, anytime, Travis Ford, you can name it throughout the years. He's one of ours. We should not want anybody else to succeed but him.
Because he's our coach.
He's our coach. And hell, not only is he our coach, start naming the most prominent figures in Oklahoma State athletics history, and how far down are you going to go before you go to Mike Gundy?
Yeah, right.
And Sanders, Thomas, Sutton, Gundy.
Yeah, right.
You're not going very far. And you can switch 3 to 4 and 2 to 5 and whatnot. But there's that handful of 8 names, and he's one of them. If not higher. And what are we doing if we're not rooting for him to turn it around? Yeah,
I agree with that. Could not agree with that more.
Everybody that thinks that way, your wife frustrates you. Your girlfriend frustrates you. They talk to you like you shouldn't be talked to. They've let you down when you don't want them let you down. But you ain't rooting for them to just get run off. You're not rooting for the divorce.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, Scott, this has been simply fantastic. I wanted to get you always are therapy for me because it's typically speaking, I'm really as I've gotten older, I've gotten more level-headed. I'm just such a diehard OSU fan growing up. It's just so emotional to me that usually for about the first 3 days, I'm just mad as hell. And then typically speaking, I get over it. So this has been awesome. What a wonderful perspective again. And again, what'd you say? That was Coach Gundy's awful way
of taking accountability.
That is awesome, man. Anything you want to get out here that we haven't got out yet?
No, man, I tell you, and I know people think I'm soft on it, but listen, I'm mad. I want to win. It's frustrating. I want the season to max out. I don't know what maxing out looks like. There's a lot of factors. It's never as easy as we want to make it, but I want to see it max out. And I'm sorry, Mike Gundy gave me 3 of the best days of my life. Bedlam 21, Bedlam 20, can't remember my year now, 23, and beating Texas on homecoming on the day we had 8 starters hurt. You know, yes, he gets a pass on a little bit of this bad for all of that good.
There's still a little bit of loyalty left still here in this decision-making part as far as he goes, which is this year, and this year only, in my opinion.
Probably so.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll probably come back in December if it doesn't get better and say it's time.
Yeah.
It's time, but it'll still be with thank you, because
Absolutely.
my kids and I shared those moments together. And
Your
Mike
thoughts
and I
on that
shared-
OSU totem pole will not have changed at that
No,
point.
not one bit.
Yeah.
Not one bit. I mean, he did it. He is OSU football. I'm sorry.
Right.
And there is zero guarantee that it will get any better when he's gone.
Right. Absolutely.
You know. So.
Hey, Scott, this has been wonderful, man. Appreciate you, brother.
You bet, man. Take care, Casey.
See ya.